Mental health is not a luxury, it is the foundation of who we are. Every day, our minds are bombarded with stress, expectations, and noise. Yet, too often, we ignore the whispers of our own mental well-being. We push ourselves past exhaustion, believing that strength means going without pause. But true strength, real, unshakable strength, comes from understanding ourselves, from listening to our thoughts and emotions, and from caring for the inner world we often neglect. Prioritize your mental health daily. Small, consistent actions build resilience and inner strength. It begins with understanding that the mind is not just a tool. It is the command center of your entire life, shaping how you perceive the world, how you react to challenges, and how you define your own sense of worth. Too often, people treat mental health as secondary, as something they will deal with later, as if the mind can wait while the body or career takes priority. But every choice we make, every thought we entertain, and every habit we adopt begins in the mind. The way you nurture your mental health determines the quality of your life, and it determines how equipped you are to handle the inevitable storms that will come. Every day is an opportunity to check in with yourself, to ask the questions that many avoid. How am I feeling? What do I need? Am I honoring my boundaries? And it is through these small, consistent questions that you begin to cultivate resilience, that inner strength that cannot be shaken by circumstances outside your control. Resilience is not built in moments of ease. It is forged in the quiet decisions to take care of your mind when the world is loud, when stress is high, when exhaustion tempts you to ignore the voice within. It is in choosing to rest when rest is needed, to reflect when reflection is uncomfortable, and to prioritize self-care when it seems indulgent. Small actions may seem insignificant at first, making time for a walk, journaling for 10 minutes, meditating before the day begins, but their impact compounds. Each day you commit to tending to your mind, you reinforce the foundation upon which all other aspects of your life are built. Mental health is not a one-time achievement, it is a continuous practice. It is a relationship you maintain with yourself, and like any meaningful relationship, it requires attention, patience, and compassion. You will have days when it feels like nothing is working, when the heaviness in your mind resists every attempt at lightness, and yet it is precisely in those moments that the practice matters most. By showing up for yourself consistently, by making choices that honor your inner well-being, you train your mind to handle adversity with grace. You begin to see challenges not as threats to your peace, but as opportunities to strengthen the skills that allow you to remain centered, focused, and clear. Prioritizing your mental health daily is not an act of weakness, it is an act of courage. It requires the bravery to face uncomfortable truths about yourself, to acknowledge feelings you would rather ignore, and to confront patterns that no longer serve you. It requires the willingness to say no to demands, pressures, and distractions that drain your energy and no longer align with your well-being. Each decision, no matter how small, sends a signal to your mind that it is valued, that it is respected, and that it is worthy of care. The consistency of these actions is where true power lies. One day of meditation or journaling may feel like a drop in the ocean, but over weeks, months, and years, these small drops accumulate into a reservoir of strength. When life becomes unpredictable, as it inevitably will, it is this reservoir that sustains you. It is the mental fortitude to respond calmly rather than react impulsively, to see solutions rather than fixate on problems, and to maintain clarity when chaos surrounds you. Mental health is the invisible backbone of your resilience, and prioritizing it daily is the act of reinforcing that backbone so it does not fracture under pressure. Inner strength does not appear overnight. It is grown quietly, persistently through habits that respect your emotional, psychological, and cognitive needs. Many people underestimate the ripple effect that tending to their mental health has on every other area of life. When your mind is rested, clear, and nurtured, relationships improve, productivity increases, and creativity flows more naturally. When you allow yourself to recharge, you are no longer running on fumes, reacting out of fear or frustration. Instead, you are responding from a place of centeredness and awareness. Prioritizing mental health daily is an investment in every dream, every goal, and every connection you hope to sustain. It is the acknowledgement that your mind is not disposable and that the quality of your life is inseparable from the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and mental habits. This practice also requires self-compassion. You will stumble, you will have days where consistency falters, and that is part of the process. What matters is not perfection, but persistence. It is about showing up for yourself even when you do not feel like it, about forgiving yourself for moments of weakness, and about recommitting to the small actions that build resilience. Journaling, exercise, mindful breathing, therapy, meditation, connecting with supportive people, disconnecting from digital noise, and creating healthy boundaries are not indulgences. They are essential practices that create a protective layer around your well-being. These consistent, small acts send a profound message to your subconscious mind: you matter, your inner world matters, and it is worth the effort to cultivate strength from within. Mental health is often invisible, and that invisibility can lead to neglect. We honor what we see, we invest in what we value. By making mental health visible in your daily routine, by intentionally weaving practices that support your mind into your life, you shift it from being an afterthought to being a priority. You become someone who does not wait for crisis to force action, but someone who proactively builds resilience and strength every single day. And in doing so, you transform not only how you handle stress, pressure, and adversity, but also how you experience joy, love, and fulfillment. Small, consistent actions are deceptively powerful. They may not produce immediate results, but over time, they fortify the mind like steel forged by repeated heat and pressure. Mental health is a marathon, not a sprint. It demands patience, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to your own inner life. Every choice you make to honor your mind compounds, creating momentum that carries you through uncertainty, fear, and the inevitable challenges that life presents. The decisions to rest, reflect, connect, and care for your mental well-being are the bricks that build a life of clarity, purpose, and strength. When you prioritize these actions daily, you create a foundation so sturdy that external circumstances, no matter how difficult, cannot easily shake your inner stability. The journey toward mental wellness is deeply personal, and yet it is universal in its importance. Every human being experiences stress, pressure, doubt, and fear. What differentiates those who thrive from those who merely survive is not the absence of challenges, but the daily commitment to nurturing the mind, to building resilience through small, consistent practices, and to honoring the inner voice that often goes unheard. This commitment transforms weakness into strength, uncertainty into clarity, and struggle into growth. It empowers you to face life fully, to embrace its highs and lows, and to engage with the world from a place of groundedness and balance. Every day presents opportunities to prioritize your mental health. Each moment you choose reflection over distraction, mindfulness over autopilot, and care over neglect, you are reinforcing the architecture of resilience. You are teaching your mind to respond with awareness, to act with intention, and to cultivate the inner resources necessary for a life of strength, fulfillment, and purpose. Small, consistent actions repeated daily are the seeds of a durable, unshakable mental fortitude, and through these seeds, you grow not only resilience, but the capacity to live fully, to love deeply, and to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. Well-being is a choice, not a luxury. Nurture your mind with self-awareness, rest, and positive habits. Too often, people treat well-being as something to pursue only when life is convenient or when the pressures of daily existence seem manageable, as if it were optional rather than essential. Yet the truth is that well-being is the foundation of every meaningful action, every achievement, and every connection we form. To truly honor yourself and live a life of fulfillment, you must recognize that well-being is a deliberate choice made every single day in the seemingly small decisions that shape the way you think, feel, and act. It begins with self-awareness, the courage to examine your inner landscape honestly, to recognize the thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that either nourish or deplete your energy. Without this awareness, it is impossible to make choices that support your mental, emotional, and physical health, because you cannot correct what you refuse to see. Self-awareness is the lens through which you understand not only your limitations, but also your potential. It allows you to discern the influences in your life that are helpful from those that are harmful, to notice the moments when your energy is being drained, and to take proactive steps to protect yourself. Well-being is not about indulgence. It is about survival, growth, and thriving in a world that constantly demands more than we often feel capable of giving. Rest is one of the most powerful tools in nurturing your mind, yet it is one of the most neglected. Many people wear exhaustion as a badge of honor, believing that working through fatigue is synonymous with dedication or resilience. But true strength lies in understanding that your mind and body are not limitless, that ignoring your need for rest weakens your capacity to engage fully with life. Rest is not a reward for hard work, it is the work itself. It replenishes your mental and emotional reserves, allows your nervous system to recover, and creates the clarity necessary for sound decision-making. By intentionally carving out time for rest, whether through sleep, meditation, or moments of quiet reflection, you honor your mind and reinforce the notion that well-being is a priority, not a secondary concern. Positive habits are the scaffolding that supports long-term well-being. Every action you take, no matter how small, contributes to the architecture of your mental health. Exercise, proper nutrition, mindful breathing, journaling, and purposeful connections with others are all examples of habits that compound over time, building a reservoir of resilience that can sustain you through life's inevitable challenges. The key is consistency. Sporadic or half-hearted efforts do not produce meaningful results. Small, deliberate choices repeated daily create momentum, and over time, they transform the landscape of your mind. Habits are not just routines, they are commitments to yourself that communicate your worth and your priorities to your subconscious mind. Each time you choose to engage in a positive habit, you reinforce the idea that your well-being matters, that it is worthy of attention, and that you are capable of creating conditions that allow your mind to flourish. Well-being also requires boundaries. In a world filled with endless demands, opinions, and distractions, it is easy to lose sight of what is essential for your own mental health. Saying no is not selfish, it is a declaration of self-respect. Protecting your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth allows you to focus on what truly matters, to nurture your mind without being overwhelmed by external pressures. Boundaries are the invisible lines that guard your well-being, and maintaining them consistently is an act of courage and self-love. Without boundaries, even the most well-intentioned actions and habits can be diluted or undermined, leaving you depleted and disconnected from your inner resources. The choice to nurture your mind is deeply personal, yet it has profound ripple effects in every area of life. When your well-being is prioritized, relationships improve, work becomes more meaningful, and challenges are met with clarity rather than panic. By investing in your mental, emotional, and physical health, you create a foundation from which you can contribute to the world in ways that are sustainable, impactful, and authentic. Well-being is not a solitary pursuit. It affects everyone you interact with. Your energy, mindset, and emotional state influence the people around you in ways you may not even realize, and by prioritizing your own care, you amplify your ability to positively impact others. Self-awareness, rest, and positive habits are interconnected, each supporting and enhancing the others. Awareness allows you to recognize when rest is needed, to notice when habits are misaligned with your well-being, and to adjust accordingly. Rest restores your capacity to act with intention rather than reaction, providing the mental clarity necessary to make wise choices. Positive habits reinforce both awareness and rest, creating a cycle of growth that strengthens your mind and spirit. This cycle is not automatic, it requires dedication, reflection, and persistence. Life will challenge you, tempt you to ignore your needs, and distract you from what is essential. Yet every time you return to these practices, you fortify your inner strength and reclaim the choice to prioritize well-being over chaos. Neglecting your well-being is not harmless. It accumulates over time, eroding resilience, clarity, and joy. The pressures of modern life are relentless, and without conscious effort, it is easy to become overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected from yourself. By choosing well-being, you are actively resisting the forces that would deplete you. You are taking ownership of your mind, refusing to allow circumstance, stress, or the demands of others to dictate the quality of your inner life. Well-being is not passive, it is an ongoing commitment to yourself that must be defended and nurtured with vigilance and care. The practice of nurturing your mind is not always comfortable. It may require confronting difficult emotions, letting go of toxic influences, or changing habits that are deeply ingrained. It may involve seeking support from others, whether through therapy, mentorship, or trusted relationships. Yet it is precisely through this discomfort that growth occurs. True well-being is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of strength, clarity, and balance in the face of challenge. Every deliberate choice to care for your mind, every moment spent reflecting, resting, or cultivating positive habits is a step toward becoming a more resilient, capable, and fulfilled version of yourself. Well-being is a daily practice that must be woven into the fabric of your life. It is not a weekend retreat, a brief period of meditation, or an occasional act of self-indulgence. It is the conscious, continuous decision to act in ways that honor your mind, body, and spirit. Each day presents countless opportunities to choose thoughts that empower, actions that sustain, and habits that reinforce your resilience. Each day you have the chance to recommit to yourself, to prioritize your well-being above distraction, neglect, or societal expectation. These choices, repeated consistently, create momentum that carries you through moments of stress, uncertainty, and fear, allowing you to navigate life with clarity and composure. Well-being ultimately is about empowerment. It is about reclaiming control over your mind, understanding that you are the architect of your own inner life, and realizing that the choices you make each day determine the trajectory of your mental and emotional state. By nurturing yourself through self-awareness, rest, and positive habits, you build an internal environment where resilience, joy, and clarity can thrive. You create a life in which challenges are met with strength, stress is managed with grace, and your potential is fully realized. It is not a destination, but a continuous journey, a commitment to living deliberately, with attention to the health of your mind and spirit. Every decision you make to invest in your well-being compounds over time, producing results that are both profound and long-lasting. The choice to care for yourself is not optional. It is the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. By consistently choosing well-being, you not only strengthen your mind, but you cultivate the ability to act with intentionality, to engage deeply with others, and to navigate the complexities of life with resilience and clarity. This journey requires dedication, reflection, and courage, yet the rewards are immeasurable, shaping the quality of your life and the legacy of your mental and emotional strength. What do you think about this video? Tell me in the comments,